Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Um, Thank you all for coming back to my channel, for watching, subscribing. Wait a minute, a light is missing. Hold up. There we go. Thank you all for watching, for subscribing, and for supporting my channel. I know I'm a new channel, y'all. Please forgive my hair. I don't know what to do with it anymore. It's getting longer, and I know that it needs to be probably braided or something. Um, but I like having my curls out, but it gets flat if I like decide to lay on the couch, or if I want to just chill out, or if I want to do something like that. Like it gets flat in places. It looks so. Please forget my hair. I don't know what to do with it. I try to sometimes wait till I go to my barber before I get on this camera, but honestly, y'all, if I did that, then y'all would get videos only on one, maybe 2 days out the week, and it'll look a mess. So I'm just, please forgive me. I'm sorry. Um, this is the review of Queen Sugar, season 6, episode 1. If you could enter their dreams, I think that's the name of the episode. Um, I'm gonna be looking over here to my left a little bit for my notes, because I didn't write these on my laptop because I watched it in between work. So I apologize in advance. But please, before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share. Let others know about this channel. But also, please, 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 please share with me your feedback in the comment section. So with Queen Sugar, it opens up first with Micah. We know he's a sophomore at Xavier University of Louisiana. That is actually my alma mater. So, it feels good to, see it and to hear it on the screen whenever it's being discussed. So, I always like to know, I always like to hear about, about good stuff like that, especially at my school. I mean, hey, we are the, one of the top black, you know, schools out there. I mean, I ain't even going to the history. I ain't finna toot no horns, nothing like that, because I don't want people to feel, you know, upset. You know, we'll leave it alone. But it is what it is. But Micah is on. I think he's in a class. He's on like a summer class. They're discussing Garvey and all of that. So, he's basically doing his thing. And then we see Charlie FaceTimes him, and they're talking about her being in LA for a big political thing. I just want to say Charlie is really moving up the ranks in politics. But something told me that Charlie was not just out there for politics. I had a feeling because when we left off last season, I had a feeling, a deep rooted feeling. I said, I know she just ain't out there for politics. And the one thing she better be is out there for politics. Now, I don't care what else you do out there, but politics need to be in the mix. Because, girl, we're not spending money and taking flights for no dude. Okay? I gotta get some work done too now. So we see Ralph Angel and Prosper taking selfies. Now, something that's gonna come up a little bit later, I think in the next scene, kind of threw off their timeline, if you know what I mean. So they're taking selfies, sending them to Blue, because Blue is sending pictures of his new school. He's sending pictures of DC, things like that. He's actually on this show. He's in the school that Malia and Sasha Obama went to and stuff in DC. So he's in this very prestige school because he's very intelligent. Blue is what we will call, what some people would say is a genius. In our world, we like to call them like, don't want to say he's a savant. Savants are people who usually pick up on things real easily. It's usually sometimes focused on one or two areas. I don't know if he would be a savant, but he would be considered like genius, very, very high intelligence. So Ralph Angel is talking to Prosper about a lawsuit that was filed for, I want to say it's displaced farmers and things of that nature. And what I want to say is that it's a bit difficult when you think about this, because one thing about this show that I love is that it always highlights the black struggle. Truly, just kind of like, what is it like to be a black person in the South? I grew up in Mississippi. I know what it's like to be a black person in the South, but at the same time, I don't. I honestly didn't get that wake up call until I was 17 when I was pulled over by the police. Um, Cause my town, the way my town sat, I said, we in Badsville, we were considered kind of like the black town. We had white people there, but it was primarily black. And then Sumrall, which is the next town over, is the white town. So it was it's a mess. But anyway, um, so we see Darla comes out. Darla is trying to get Ralph Angel and Vi to start talking again. Darla's looking very beautiful, pregnant. Um, and so we like, okay, cool, that's great. But I mean, Aunt Vi, let's be real. Aunt Vi is entitled to her feelings that she did help with Blue, but you know it's at times difficult for people to separate. Like even grandparents whenever they like help out with kids, like watching them and babysitting and stuff, sometimes they feel like they're entitled to tell you how to raise your child when honestly they're not. Like I'm sorry, it's not for you to do. It sucks. Your opinion is definitely appreciated, but you can't tell me what to do with my kid. Um, so anyway, we go over to the shop. Aunt Vi is over here doing stuff, and this guy comes up like, how much is the food? And she's like, whatever you can pay, whatever you can afford. Now, I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with that logic. Although admirable, because you're trying to help and you want to build support for others and you want people to know that they can, I guess, lean on you and recognize that you are there for them, that's how people get taken advantage of. You sit there and tell somebody, oh, you just pay whatever it is you can afford. I'm gonna shortchange you every time. I mean, not me personally. I feel like because I do have the financial resources and means to truly afford it, and like during the pandemic, I didn't have to take off work. I was able to still work. Actually, psychology work went up. Now we didn't charge more, but it went up because people were more stressed, people were more depressed, so they were seeking therapy. And so for me, I could have walked in the store and just paid whatever. So I understand her trying to give back to folks, but I have to also recognize that your business was not bringing in any money either. I know that Hollywood had got like this big settlement check and things of that nature, so I'm guessing they probably was living off that. But your business was not bringing in money, so you can't, sadly, you can't just be out here giving out free handouts. If folks got a job and they're working, if they're able to go back to work, then I mean, you don't have to say whatever you can afford. You can offer them a discount. I mean, you can say, okay, well, here's a 15% discount. So instead of the food being 15, well, let's say 10% discount because I can't do percentages that well right now. If the food is $15, I think 10% is like maybe a dollar and some change. So your food is now like maybe $13 and some change. I mean that's what she would have to do, but she's in there. It's a blueberry pie. Somebody ordered a blueberry pie. And she's like, well, he gonna get peach cobbler because this blueberry pie is for Blue, and I gotta rush to see Blue, and that's what threw off the timeline. Because when Prospect Ralph Angel was taking selfies, it appears that Blue is in D.C., but the way Vi is talking, it appears that she has to rush and see Blue in New Orleans. I mean, in St. Joe, like Blue is presently there. So I'm a little lost with that piece. Um, but then Hollywood sees that, hey, there's a bag here with no name on it. She's like, oh, somebody must have forgot. So she put it down. And then we see her I think it's send a text to get on the phone and tell somebody that I think she got on the phone. She was like, I told you I got you. It's okay, I got you. So now we know that Vi has something going off on the side. She's helping someone without people's knowledge. And the way that she's sneaking around about it, it makes me think it's her ex-husband. If it's not her ex-husband, they're introducing a new character. But I'm feeling like it's her ex-husband. I don't want it to be, but it feels like it. Then we see Nova doing work showcasing black women and politics and stuff. And the woman approaches her like, hey, maybe you should do politics. And she's like, no, that's my sister's Charlie's lane. She's excelling in that. That's not for me. The reason Nova wouldn't do well in politics is because Nova doesn't like to be restrained. She doesn't like boxes. In politics, a lot of people are in boxes or they have to present themselves in a box. so that they can get votes and stuff like that. And Nova is more of a radical. She likes that freedom. She needs to be able to say what she wants to say in the way that she wants to say it. So she wouldn't really do well in politics. Um, yeah, she wouldn't do well. So we see again, like Charlie was in LA with Davis. Now she said she was there for politics, they talking, but she there for Davis. Well, not for Davis, she there for politics. Davis came with her. It's a beautiful setup wherever they was. I want to go. Lord, send me somebody so we can go. Matter of fact, just send me the money. I'll go by myself. It was beautiful out there in LA. Charlie and Davis are rekindling their relationship, and she's wondering, well, not she, yeah, she's wondering how he would feel about her basically ascending up in politics, or moving up to power, reaching her zenith in politics. And Davis, of course, says he's supportive. He's there for her. She was there for him. He's gonna be there for her. So I love it. I feel like a lot of times in relationships, men and women do not recognize what they have when they have a good person. I remember when I used to date, when I dated someone, this dude was amazing. I kid on not, he was great. And I was younger. And I told him that I wouldn't date him because he was too nice. And a lot of times people get individuals that are nice and are supportive. Now I'm the nice person, and look at me. People are getting nice and supportive people in their lives, and they don't know what to do with that because they never had it. They were always taught to fend for themselves. So whenever they get nice and supportive, or basically psychologically healthy, they're unsure what to do with that. They go and they mess it up until they get to a place where they get more psychologically healthy, and then they're more accepting of this type of behavior. And either they want to go back to the person who was that for them, and that person has moved on, or they want to go back to that person, and that person now has reservations, and it becomes a little bit shaky in there. And one thing that sticks out to me all the time, I remember I was working with couples, I talked to them about loyalty versus commitment. And a lot of times people think that loyalty and commitment is the same thing. And I just want you to know, loyalty and commitment is not the same thing. And the best way I can explain it is a dog. For people who have animals, who have pets, who have dogs, for instance, they say dog is a man's best friend, right? Well, you could have a dog. Your dog will eat at your house. Your dog will see food. Excuse me. Will see food at the neighbor's house and eat at their house. At the neighbor's house and eat at their house. At that person, they'll eat at every house possible. But then they'll come back home. That's loyalty. Davis was loyal to Charlie. He cheated on Charlie. Yeah, he went and did his thing. But he always came back home. He took care of the family. He made sure his kid was good. He was there for what he needs to do. Davis was loyal to Charlie, the relationship, the family. But he was not committed. And when I say commitment, that's not just strictly that's not strictly in relation to monogamy. Commitment is commitment to whatever you have decided with your partner or even yourself that you're going to do. Commitment, in that same image of a dog, is a dog that sits on that porch and can see the food at everybody else's house and decide to stay at home. From my understanding, Charlie and Davis was in a monogamous relationship. So he should have been committed just like she was committed to the household, the family, the marriage, which is, even though I see what's out there, I don't stray. So just letting y'all know that's the difference. But it seems that he's more committed now in their relationship, and he's talking to her about how we can't do this hiding thing forever. First off, they grown. Who got time to be hiding when you grown? I don't know, but that's childish. But Charlie says, let's take the steps. Now I do agree. We have to take steps in this. And she's like, we gotta tell the family first, and then move to being more public. I think that's a good thing, because the family, actually, I think their child is the first person, because of everything that went on. He's the one that's the most hurt. So we got to see that. I'm also wondering if we're going to see Davis's daughter again. I'm not sure, but I wonder if she's going to pop back on the scene. So we end up seeing Ralph Angel and Darla. Ralph Angel, sorry, he's trying to get a payday loan, another loan, and they're saying they got to run the background checks and stuff. They're struggling financially because of COVID. He was not able to plant. I guess his crops didn't come out good and things of that nature. So he didn't make the money that he usually would have made. And So, he got to try to get this loan. But this is their like fourth loan in 6 months, so it's real bad for them. And then we see that Nova is sneaking around, not sexually, but she's trying to basically continue to collect stories about the police and what happened. And the guy, her source, he's afraid, but she's trying to reassure him like, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's not that big of not it's not that big of a deal, but it's nothing to be afraid of. I got you. I try to. My sources have never been found before. I can say that that's probably a scare. I can see how he would be afraid. I would have been afraid. I mean, we have seen how police treat us and how it's a lot different than how they treat other people. So I can understand his fear. And honestly, I can understand Nova's probably fear as well. Like that anxiety level got to be high, and that's not good. It makes me think about, oh my God, what is the name? Is it Sele? I think it's Sele, Sele, I think that's his name. Who did the theory about stress, alarm resistance, and exhaustion. Alarm is whenever a stressful event first happens, and that's that shock that you have whenever your parasympathetic nervous system turns off, and your sympathetic nervous system comes on, and you're in that fight, flight, freeze response mode. Resistance is when you're actively pushing against the things that's causing you stress, which takes a lot of energy itself. And then exhaustion is when you tire yourself out, and you basically need rest. And sometimes exhaustion can end up being death. So stress can really kill you. And it makes me think like Nova, you're probably in this resistant phase right now, and you need to slow yourself down, homegirl, or you're gonna like burn yourself out. What's this? We see Hollywood going through memories in the house. He's missing Violet. Violet is there, but she's checked out. Remember, there's someone else that she's in a sense taking care of right now, and she's doing all this stuff for Nova, and she's being very, very mean. She's not the same sweet woman that she was, especially surrounding this Blue situation, which Hollywood has recognized and has pointed out, but she's not willing to accept. We see Nova on the phone. She get an offer to do the Today Show and recognize that her door is open and she's now afraid. I mean, I don't blame her. Who would not be afraid? But it looked like she left her door open because the keys were on the table. So I'm thinking she must have been rushing and left her door open. But I don't know how a person wouldn't recognize that. I mean, at some point, like sometimes I forget my wallet or something, because sometimes I leave the wallet in the car, so I may just get in the car and start driving. But at some point, as I'm driving, I start feeling around, and when I don't see my wallet, I know to go home. Excuse me. I would think, do you have two different set of keys or something? Because maybe she got two different set of keys and two house keys on them, and she just didn't think. We see Michael get a call from Aunt Vi. He's in the bed with, looks like a professor, because she said, oh, I keep forgetting you're a sophomore. She's beautiful, by the way. They're having their sexual encounter and everything. Aunt Micah to skip out on Aunt Vi for some cat. Now, I mean, hey, I don't know what it feels like, but hey, it may be a wonderful thing. Micah, don't be skipping out on Aunt Vi for no lady. At least let her know something. But Aunt Vi already knew. You say you're at the library, but I know where you at. Just make sure you protect yourself. Ralph Angels bought a crib, an expensive crib. And see, Darla is more realistic right now. See, this is a person who has been through some things, and you would think because Ralph Angel has been through a lot, that as well as Darla, that he would be more realistic in things. Darla is being more realistic, but Ralph Angel also strikes me as a person right now, new money. He's expecting something to come. I know something is going to come. I'm going to get this money so I can spend what I got. Living in the here and now, I understand. You never know if you'll live tomorrow. I think a lot of people use that mantra, to bring comfort to themselves for the reckless stuff that they've done in the day. Yes, I don't know if I'm going to live till tomorrow, but if I do, I want to have some dang on money or something so that I can make it. You have a baby on the way and a child in school, and you pulling out loan after loan after loan, And instead of you being smart, you're taking that money and spending it on new expensive stuff. A crib is something you can put on a wish list. A crib is something her mama would have probably bought on the wish list. Like, you have to be smart about where you spend your money and where you put it. Ralph Angel is not exercising that portion of his brain. So, yeah, he's going to put them in a hole. He's going to put them in a financial hole. And I think that's what's going to bring a lot of stress to their marriage and their relationship, is Ralph Angel's inability to recognize that he needs to prioritize first. Is that it? Yeah, that's that piece. Okay, so Nova get Prosper for the vaccine drive. Ralph Angel get a call, just what I was just saying. Hey, you got this many days, I think they said 60 or 90, or we're going to foreclose on your land. See, that there go that, what I was just saying about, hey, you got to use your brain now. Yes, you may not live to see tomorrow, but hey, do you want your baby to have some land? Pay the bill. We get to this vaccine drive. Nova has more people than she anticipated because there are folks from St. Thomas Parish coming to St. Joe for the vaccine drive, when the vaccine drive was strictly for St. Josephine Parish. Now, St. Thomas is a more white parish, and St. Josephine is more black. They run into this issue with, hey, what are we going to do with all these people who are here? This is what I'm going to say. Nova mentioned reservations in the beginning. I mean, no, somewhere in the middle. One thing that should have been handled up front is on the advertisement. It should have said reservation required. That reservation that was required should have shown that it was St. Josephine Parish. It should have went out to the parish. It shouldn't. I don't know if it was broadcast, but it should have went to the parish. And it should have said reservation required. And in order to reserve, you got to have a St. Josephine Parish address. You got to show ID. You got to have, all that needs to be on there, because in that way, not that they wouldn't ran into any difficulty, but they probably wouldn't run into as many problems. Because then, as the people were coming, my first question would have been, are you on the reservation list? I would look for your name. Sorry, you're not on the reservation list. You're going to have to wait till our next drive. We only have so many shots, and it's only for the people that are reserved. Go. However, you got all this honking going on, all these people going crazy, and because they want to get the vaccine. But this also is a realistic frenzy. You know what? I don't even know if I want to say it's realistic, to be honest. Because when the vaccine came out, people were not really wanting to do it. It was almost kind of like a forced thing. Because I remember I was working at the VA at the time, and they was talking about how all employees were going to have to come get vaccinated. I mean, I did get vaccinated on my own volition, but some people didn't want to, So when you think about that, I was like, I don't think that's a realistic picture, but let's say that it is. You see people who think that they're entitled to the vaccine, and they want to take it from these people. I'm gonna say this. Nova's event was a good event, but it got a lot of pushback because the officers are not for Nova, because she is writing articles to defund the police, which also is something that Aunt Vi is not a fan of, and she and Hollywood have a disagreement about, which we're not saying that their relationship is going through stuff too. Aunt Vi is not for what Nova is asking for with defunding the police. Hollywood is. Aunt Vi is looking at it like, she's been in a situation before where, you have nobody but to call, you have no one to call but the police. And that's a difficult situation to be in at times, because we're supposed to call them to protect us, but whenever they do come, like we see, they go to the aid of the white person versus, trying to see what's actually going on. And I'm just going to say this. Because it's Nova, I think that's the reason they got I think that's the reason the police responded the way that they did. I don't think they would have, they probably would have responded if any other black person was doing it from this show. But what I'm saying is, because it was Nova, it was amplified, because she's for defunding the police, which my stance, From what I have heard and read about defunding the police, it's different from what people say that it is. Um, I'm not going to even jump into that deeply, but what I will say is that our police need more education and training so that they can better serve the population. I think, with everything going on, I'm not saying like strip the whole police force, but I do think that they need to bring in some training for the police that we currently have. If there's anyone that wants to be police, they need to go to school and at least get an associate's degree in criminal justice. So that way they have to take like a culture class and everything, like a class on different cultures and things of that nature, and how to de-escalate situations, a psychology course and stuff, before they go into the training portion and actually get out there in the field. I do understand that they are in heightened situations and that it can be hard. I get that. I'm not upset about. I'm not blaming or anything like that at all. But it's important to recognize how they also add to the stress that people of color are feeling, especially black folks. So with that being said and done, y'all, I gotta get ready to get up off this. But let me just say thank y'all once again for coming, watching, subscribing, and being here for me. And I will be back with the next episode. Have a good day.